Phrolova has strung herself into the Mono Havoc team, and she is the premium unit to have. With her impressive off-field damage, crowd control techniques, and overall finesse, she is quite a majestic character. But enough about Phrolova. What about her teammates? Phrolova dominates Mono Havoc, but without Cantarella and Roccia, is she still the Havoc Queen, or just a justified cheerleader sitting atop the battlefield motivating her partners? My name is VoidEnigma, and I'll be breaking down the exact team options that Phrolova has, and many people skip both Cantarella and Roccia, so how much do you lose from not having them? Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, like the video, and let's start up the maestro and sing about this topic. The Mono Havoc team is similar to that of the Mono Fusion team. Each character buffs each other and they benefit from each other's presence and deal significant damage together. Each intro and outro triggers a Havoc burst, and during all of this, Phrolova has Hecate pulling and stagnating the enemy. Cool stuff, honestly. You have Phrolova who buffs heavy attack, then she swaps to Roccia who uses heavy attacks, and then Roccia buffs basic attacks on outro, and she swaps to Cantarella who uses basic attacks, and then Cantarella buffs resonant skill damage, and she swaps to Phrolova who uses resonant skills, and so on and so forth. Very fun team, they just go together so nicely. You can even quick swap easily between these three for a dynamic comp. Mono Havoc is here and it's dealing great damage, but the thing about Mono Havoc is they're not really tied to the Mono Havoc role like the Mono Fusion team is. With the Mono Fusion team, you have to use fusion characters to get Lupa's buff, but with this team, no buffs are holding these characters together, so that means that you can mix and match these team members very easily. Phrolova is way more flexible than Lupa, so you definitely don't have to go Mono Havoc. Since Phrolova is a resonant skill damage dealer, she wants an outro that buffs resonant skill damage. With all of that being said though, there is a single attack in her kit that takes advantage of this, and that single attack, her enhanced heavy attack that is just about 30 to 40% of her kit and scaling. However, she has many other attacks, most of which are considered echo skill damage, or simply just Havoc damage. That means that you can pair her with the Resident Danjin and continue to destroy any boss or hologram that you can think of. Plus, Phrolova is mainly off-field for up to 24 seconds, so pairing these two is a great choice. You can even add in a third character to make this a trio. What makes this even better is that Phrolova buffs heavy attack damage, so Danjin will appreciate the massive Havoc and heavy damage bonus. That's not all though. She buffs heavy damage, right? Who else is a heavy damage attack dealer? Looks like Jiyan is getting another buff from other characters, right? Since Phrolova can act as a sub DPS who is off-field for the most part, Jiyan is a great partner for her, amplifying his heavy attack damage by 25%. This won't be as good as Mortefy's buff, but Phrolova has substantially more off-field damage to compensate. Pair this with Shorekeeper, and you got a solid team. And remember, Shorekeeper is always a good option for any team, so she just works alongside any of these other units. Other than buffing other teams, you can pair her with resonant skill damage buffers as I mentioned earlier, like Brant, Zhuji, and Taochi. Brant has the added bonus of being able to heal, so you can skip the healer and still bring along Roccia instead, right? That way, you're still taking advantage of Phrolova's heavy attack buff. Now I know that many of you are thinking that you have to replace Camellia in your team for Phrolova, but what if we use these two together? Camellia does take a lot of field time, but here's a kicker. The Fraxidus Overseer Phrolova also takes a lot of off-field time, and these two love buds can cause mental mayhem to their opponents because they're both a little touch with the, crazy. It's going to be a finicky team to swap through, but I'll be making a rotation guide for Phrolova when she's released, so stay tuned. I got you. And you can also have my back by subscribing to the channel, so go ahead and like the video as well, and let's continue. While Phrolova has the perks of being able to create the Mono Fusion team, Mono Havoc team, a lot of Mono teams lately, she is not at all tied to the Mono Havoc dream. She's free to be played in many other teams, all thanks to the fact that she's an off-field damage dealer. As wrapped up in these bandages as she is, she's much more free in team building than many other characters. So the real question that you want to have is, do you want a crowd control character that has off-field damage? Yeah? Then use Phrolova. She is in a similar role to Chang Li, where you can bring her almost anywhere and do decently well. but you gotta remember that she isn't quite the best in all of these roles. She's also the main carry in her designated role, and she's part of a mono elemental team. Damn, Phrolova really was stalking, wasn't she? Look at her, staring at Cheng-Li. I'm gonna steal your team comp and your role. There is future potential in future teams with Phrolova as well, but I wouldn't count too heavily on it, but it's a good thing to think about. We know that Scar is probably going to be a Havoc character, so wouldn't it be nice if he paired well with Phrolova? Either way, she pairs very well with heavy attackers, and potentially we will have a team that specializes in purely Echo skill damage. Who knows, could be a fun concept. So as I've demonstrated, Phrolova is not limited at all. She's actually quite free to be added to many different teams. Since she's strictly off-field and doesn't have a specific niche like Jacona's Arrow Erosion, she could be swapped in, do damage, swap out, and continue to do damage while using another character freely. I have so many fun team concepts that should work, but I'll wait to try them out in the rotation guide. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. This has been VoidEnigma out.